You ready? Live from the Asbury Park Music Foundation, welcome to One More. I'm your host, Brian Erickson. Each week, we bring in two new guests, sit them down on the big comfy couch. We ask them why they do what they do, and this week, of course, is no exception. We have Kathy Quintana and Matt Raspanti joining us. But first, and as always, Chris Dubrow.
Hey, Brian.
Long time no see, man.
It's been almost like what? It's been like what? 16 hours.
It's been not that long.
It's been. Here's the thing. So Saturday when you went to into John and Peter's and I stayed with Ava and Charlotte, I was like, I've been away for Brian for an hour.
A little too long.
I was freaking out. I was losing it.
We so for the viewers that aren't sure, we spent the entire weekend together.
It was Tall Boy weekend, and it was a nightmare. I think we both kind of revealed how self-conscious and like self-hating we were because we were both.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of like
it was like that movie about David Foster Wallace and that dude from the Rolling Stones.
Oh yeah, the end of the tour.
Yeah,
Rolling Stone.
The Rolling Stones when Mick Jagger and David Foster Wallace hung out for a weekend.
Like what did they say? Bill Wyman.
Yeah, Bill Wyman and David.
He wasn't
Foster.
doing anything. He's not doing anything.
I would actually give a lot of money to see like how Mick Jagger and David Foster Wallace interact. I feel like they would have hated each other.
Can I tell you, I really enjoyed that movie, and that's not usually my style. Like,
just two men talking. Two men talking is not your style. Really? Two white guys talking about pop culture.
But that was a really good, like the way, because it was two good actors.
Yeah,
and two good actors doing something like that. I really, I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
it was good.
Normally we have something to talk about at the beginning, and I think we've just been talking for so long that we're kind of totally empty.
Yeah, well, we talked. It's funny because then when we did this, like we started, the first thing we did was we got coffee, and it was like, oh, this is comedians and cars getting coffee. So I think we started out like talking about. I think you talked about my family. We talked about your family.
We got to know each other.
We kind of got
everything
deep
about each other,
and then like 2 days later, we finally ended up in a cafe, a great cafe, one of my favorite places to eat, Cafe 72 in West Trenton. Kind of took you back to where I sort of, was like came up.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, we finally like 2 days later had the cafe portion of
it where it's just the two of them. So I hear thing about comedians in cars getting coffee. It feels very faked.
Really?
Like it feels like it's in the entire thing is like total. It's more staged.
Like
than you think
some of them do. I'll admit some of them do. Some of them don't though. Like I like, I can appreciate when they really do decide to open up.
Yeah.
And the ones that are fake, if it's funny, it's great. Like the Alec Baldwin ones, like he's just so funny, but he's not really giving you a whole lot of who he is.
I don't want to know who Alec Baldwin is.
But he's just he's just a interesting guy to spend a half hour with.
You think we can get Alec Baldwin on the show? Matt, can we get Alec Baldwin on here? Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
Well, Nash works in pictures.
Nash, you work in television.
He works.
So
you work.
Everyone in TV knows each other.
You work in the talkies. Right?
In the talkies.
Yeah. So you got this.
He's got them moving pictures these days.
Yeah. See, you were good. You were good, kid. Real good.
And speaking of real good, our two guests this week are really good.
Yeah. So let's welcome one of our most exciting new performers, Katherine Quintana.
Woo!
Thank you.
I'm going to sit over here and yell at you.
Okay.
And that was another thing too. Over the weekend, I realized that Chris knows everybody.
I know a lot of people.
Like,
I don't know as many people as like some like Joey Henderson knows everyone. I know a lot of people.
Yeah, like you're like a politician.
Yeah.
It's just
we have an announcement in a couple of months.
Oh yeah,
well,
my fellow Americans.
Like, I don't want to. We're not here to talk about.
I'm not guilty of.
I did not have. Okay.
All right,
Catherine.
Catherine, welcome to the show.
Is this a hearing or an interview?
Yeah,
it is neither.
This is my Senate hearing.
Let me get closer to the mic.
Do what you want.
So welcome. I understand this is your first interview.
It is. Yeah,
That's great.
Thanks for having
You
me.
feeling all right about that?
I Yeah, now I am.
Now that Chris moved slightly.
I was gonna do this. I'm gonna try to do it subtly, but I kind of scared you. I didn't mean to.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, what? Now that Chris moved a little closer, you're like,
nervous.
yeah, this is better now.
That was the only like totally genuine innocent thing I will do towards you at this interview. The rest of it will be hostile. So
Okay.
get ready now.
Thanks.
Wow. All right. So just so we don't go full space ghost today. So you just you formally kind of kicked off your sort of musical endeavor like within the last few months. You set up like social media pages and things like that, and kind of get some photos and everything like that. What prompted the move?
I think definitely initially, it was when Megan O'Shea put on the Anti-Valentine's Day songwriting contest.
Okay.
And I kind of thought it would be a nice personal challenge to see if I could write something. I'd always loved music, but I had never written anything until January, a little bit before that contest.
Wow.
And so fast forward to now, I've been able to just write even more, and so I figured I better catch up and be present on social media and whatnot.
Excellent. And how long have you been singing and playing, all together?
I grew up loving to sing, I think mostly because of church, and I grew up watching my mom sing, and I kind of was exposed to singing in different bands in the sense of just different combinations of people, filling in harmonies, playing with different instrumentalists.
Like people like school, neighborhood, church, like family, friends. Like what was the house like growing up? What was going on in your life like?
Well, all three of my sisters are super musical, and they've got like their harmonies down. So it's kind of like a family thing where it's very much, it just runs in our blood. But over time, I kind of just have been able to find more of my voice and my confidence.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds great. And so this is something like when did you first start to kind of pick it up? Like how old were you? Was this something like you were like a little kid, or was it
I definitely don't know music in a technical way now, but I guess I took some clarinet lessons when I was in 6th grade, and that was like my first exposure to actually like practicing.
Like the discipline of music.
Yeah, and that didn't last very long because I was afraid of the band leader at the time, so I quit.
A band leader? Like was it a teacher? What was?
Yeah, I was a teacher.
Okay.
I moved to public school, and I was very much just scared of everything. So I was like, I can't do this.
Wow. On behalf of our school system, I apologize for that.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's unfortunate. That's, your tax dollars at work.
But I think it was 3 years ago, my parents bought me an acoustic guitar, the one I'll play in a second. Cool. But without even knowing anything, I just knew I wanted to teach myself guitar. So. Isn't
that the way, though? You sort of... It's almost like before you even try it that this is something you want to kind of embark upon.
Yeah.
How cool is that? Now, what were some of the records you were listening to when you kind of started realizing this was the path forward for you?
I don't know. I want to say last year I kind of discovered one artist who I love, who I discovered kind of late, is Sia. I was listening to her older stuff and how painfully emotional her stuff is.
You ever hear the song Buttons?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's the best song,
I love
right?
that song.
Have you ever seen like the video for it with the neon?
It's
like,
insane.
Isn't that the coolest thing?
It creeps me out.
It's like it's a little creepy. Yeah, I'll give you that.
But she was like quirky enough yet very emotional. So as far as songwriting goes, I found it pretty inspiring, among others. But yeah.
Oh wow, that's cool. Yeah, Sia, and now she's like superstar.
Yeah.
And people don't realize she's been around for, gosh, like 12 years, 13 years, something like that.
And I much prefer the earlier stuff than like the radio hits.
Me too. That's all right, because that's that's how like you were there before she was, a big star. So
shout out to Sia.
Yeah, Sia. Yeah, if you ever met, can we get Sia here too? Like if anybody wants to have Sia on,
I have a Sia wig in my car.
I actually Sia has a restraining order against me. Because I keep bothering her and I keep yelling her, how do you see with the wig? And she gets offended.
The wig was never, like it wasn't a thing early on.
How do you see with it? It's like...
How do you see ya?
How do you see ya? Yeah, of course.
All right.
Raspanti, you're not on camera yet. You don't get to do puns. When you get on camera, all you want.
So how has the local scene helped foster some of your goals as a musician?
That's been incredible. Basically, as I was starting to write some more, well, actually, part of it was Matt Raspanti.
We don't know who that is yet.
No one knows who that is.
Banned from the show.
We're probably in like, somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes, people will know.
But before I kind of, gained the confidence to play guitar for myself out at open mics or gigs, Matt volunteered to play guitar for me. And a little bit later that, Kevin Cooper volunteered to play on keys. But really, I've just been hitting open mics like at the Asbury, at the downtown, Inkwell, just different local spots. So that's been a great confidence booster, and it's allowed me to meet more people and to book shows and all that good stuff. And
speaking of shows, you got a couple coming up this week, and Chris is going to yell about them later. But that's like with Gatling gun-esque speed.
There's no intention to get anything right or be understood.
Correct. Yeah. So you want to actually tell some of our viewers about this, because it seems like you're going to have a busy week. So tell our viewers where you're going to be, who you're going to be playing with, because there are a couple pretty cool shows going on.
Yeah, this actually has been the busiest month. So tomorrow night, I'm actually at Cafe Artiste at the Jersey Shore Arts Center.
Yeah, and that's like 2 minutes from here. We walked there from here.
Mm-hmm. Friday, I'm at Espresso Joe's up in Keyport.
Oh, love Espresso Joe's.
Yeah. It's a very chill, relaxed.
It's kind of like it's like a little secret. I played Espresso Joe's once. It was a good time.
Yeah,
I like it. It's just locals, basically. Saturday, I'm at Porch Fest.
Yeah, you and me both.
Second annual. Yeah, that's exciting.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be great. Mm-hmm. Chris is going to get all those names wrong.
Yeah, no, there's no chance. Also, we don't have your Friday gig on the event, so...
That's okay.
I'll yell that. Remind me to yell about that one.
Yeah, we'll just write that down. That's fine.
It's actually, like, kind of, not to interrupt, but, like, I like the idea of, like, you talk about, like, you kind of get started on the open mic scene in this area. Is like, there is kind of a way that you can be playing open mics, like... 4 or 5 days a week in this area, and just seeing all the locals and seeing a lot of like our friends running them.
Well, what do we have? So there's Monday, Dan Appy at the downtown. Tuesday, Vlasic Classic at the Inkwell.
Yeah. Wednesday is Wednesday Sir Sherry's?
Espresso Joe's.
Oh, Espresso Joe has one.
Donnelly
Thursday is
Sir Sherry. I think is Sir Sherry Tuesday.
Yeah, you may be right. We have it on the events, but like I like this idea that like there are a few different artists.
And Thursdays at the hotel.
Yeah,
right.
And
Thursdays.
Also
Inkwell. And Inkwell.
Okay.
Yeah, and like there's ideas like there are a couple of artists like Kathy and that girl Christine Mitchell. There's a few of them who like got started on these open mics, just coming out and just playing for us, and just we're all having a good time.
Yeah, and everybody kind of says, "Oh wow, yeah." So they've got, they can, you start out with a tight 5.
Yeah, and then build.
And then someone's like, and Megan O'Shea usually comes in. And it's like, yeah, can you give me a half hour at like a noise in the attic?
And there you go.
And that's it. And next thing you know, you're in.
What happened? Yeah.
Right? How cool is
it?
It's like there's a process to it in a weird way.
If you want to, you can absolutely do it like that. And like your first gig was because of Megan O'Shea and the Valentine's Day show.
Yeah, shout out to Megan, fellow freeholder.
She's one of the best.
Oh yeah, we had her on first season as a guest.
With Dave
lovely.
Mooney.
Yeah,
never heard of him.
No, rest in peace.
Gone.
Not forgotten.
Quite forgotten.
No. That is a joke that's just between us. Dave Mooney has no idea.
I feel weird being in between that.
Sorry about that. We totally hijacked for a bit.
Okay.
Anyway, back to Kat. What is your biggest fear? Quick, go, answer.
Sharks?
Really?
I don't know.
What?
Jellyfish?
That's a more realistic fear.
I'm thinking of animals.
I almost got stung by a Portuguese man of war once. I was.
But enough about.
I was summering in Martha's Vineyard.
Oh, you're summering in Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah, summering in Martha's Vineyard.
What?
Back in '99. That is all true. So you've got a single out called Shaky Knees.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh yeah, that could have gone.
Yeah, that could have really gone haphazardly.
You got a single coming out called Shaky Knees. Right now there's only, you can find it on YouTube, but it's only 30 seconds. You get this clip.
Yeah.
It is like one of the coolest 30 seconds though.
Thank you.
I'm listening to it and let's be honest here for just a second. When somebody comes on and they're literally brand new, you've no idea. Like as a listen, I mean, obviously yourself, but someone like myself, just a listener, you have no idea what this is going to be like. What someone, oh, I got a song, and it's like, oh yeah, you clearly were just like leaning over a laptop or something like. This thing is incredible.
Thanks.
It sounds great. The song just, oh man, it just like pops right out of the speakers. When's it coming out?
It is coming out this month for sure. I can't tell you what date.
Okay, so July of.
So July
2018. Oh, 2016.
Going even
okay.
further back. No, but yeah, this is something that I recorded early summer. I wrote it in May, recorded early summer. The way it happened was I was posting videos of myself on Facebook. That was like my audience at the time.
I remember those.
Yeah, and I just was kind of hooked on it, really. Like, I would write every chance I could and post it on Facebook. And my friend Jesse Freisen, who's experienced like being in bands, he's kind of transitioned to more of the other side of production and recording.
Okay.
He reached out. He he wrote most of this compilation album called Something New and produced all of it. And I was lucky enough to have written Shaky Knees and have it be one of the 10 tracks with 9 other brand new artists.
So what's the concept of the compilation record? You said it's called Something New.
So yeah, it's a chance for, well, besides Jesse, because he was in a couple bands prior, but it's a chance for people who are into music to kind of get themselves out there for the very first time. It's something new. Mm-hmm. And definitely when I popped the CD in my car, it was like very much like a melting pot of genres. So it's exciting.
Cool. So this song, is this going to just be standalone, or you got an EP coming? You got a record, like a full-length album? What's next? Yeah.
So my hope is to get this single out as much as possible as I'm playing these local gigs. But I have started working on my first EP. Everything's written. It's like, I wish it could happen tomorrow, but we're definitely going to take our time and think it through. But yeah, there will be more music at the end of this year.
Excellent. And I just have one more question for you. You look around and you see you've managed to come a pretty good ways in a short time. What's that like? Just kind of self-reflecting on that.
Yeah, for me, I never expected any of this. I'm super grateful to have discovered this side of myself, because I always knew I loved music, but never thought that I could create on my own. But it's definitely not been just me. It's been, with a lot of inspiration and encouragement from all these musicians that I'm surrounded by. But yeah, I'm very, very excited to have this be a part of my life now.
Excellent. Yeah. And we're excited to, as fans of your music, to see where it goes. And you're going to play a couple songs for us in a few minutes. So, Kathy Quintana.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. This has been our pleasure.
Thanks, man.
Hey, man. Thanks, man. Ain't she the bestest? One More is brought to you by You Don't Know Jersey. Founded in 2010 by Allison Edward Madziak, You Don't Know Jersey has been covering all the best music, food, sport, art, and cultural events that the Garden State has to offer for nearly a decade.
I like that you use the word sport, not sports.
Oh yeah, no, food,
it's sport. Like we're gonna, it's gonna be like we're watching polo.
It's the concept of
and
sport.
Squash.
Yeah, it's the concept of sport, not actual sports.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's kind of getting philosophical about sport, but it's not each one. It's
not football, baseball. It's
like you wouldn't say musics, you say music. Hey, Raspanti! Do you want to know when the Lumberton quarterly turtle? Okay, let me do that again. Matt, can we do take 2? Are we rolling? Great. Hey, Raspanti! Do you know when Lumberton's quarterly turtleneck waddle and borscht bake-off is? Yeah, of course you do, because you're a borscht boy. Hey, Liam! I was looking through your browser history and I saw you looking up Ocean Grove's 2nd annual Chris Christie wet t-shirt contest. You want to know when it is? Because we can help you. Liam, if you need help, we can help you. So whether you're in High Point, Cape May, or anywhere in between, check out youdon'tknowjersey.com for all the latest. You don't know Jersey, but they certainly do. That's not their slogan. Brian.
All right. He's a musician, a sound engineer, a photographer, and one heck of a guitarist. Let's bring out Matt Raspanti.
I love it. You went the long way.
Yeah, I took the long way. I guess I probably should have just
Probably could have just.
Yeah,
that's
it's,
okay.
It's really bouncy couch.
it's a lot
like I have
lower.
to,
It's a
like,
lot bouncier than
straddle and cough a little bit. What is this thing?
I don't
A
know.
microphone? Should I get close to it?
Well,
Or
you're the
just-
sound engineer, dude. You tell me what.
Do not
I've
get it. It is
never.
a
I think
You don't
want
wanna-
to.
yeah,
the
he's-
term sound engineer when all I do is really touch knobs at Yacht Club and Langosta isn't
It's all right.
really.
Chris has been touching knobs for 24 years.
How do you think I got anywhere in this business,
How
baby?
does anybody get anywhere in this business? To be honest with you, it's all about touching the right knobs, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes perfect.
You gotta have a sensual touch.
Yeah, no. So it's all about no.
this
Yeah,
Look at him.
I'm lounging.
Frosted tips. He's totally got a sensual touch.
Listen, I don't. We're not here to talk
Yeah,
about
Chris,
my
the
frosted
90s
tips,
called,
okay?
dude.
Talk about his frosted tips.
Is this a frosted tip intervention?
No.
Frosted
Maybe.
tips, they're more than good. They're great.
in now. We're in a 90s generation right now, right? Everybody's
God, kill me.
falling into 90s hip hop again. So why not bring back the duck front and the frosted tips, right?
I don't have a duck front, do I?
I mean, he's
Well,
kind of got a
well,
duck front.
next week.
That was my look in 8th grade. Some gel, comb it forward, duck it front.
Oh, I
Duck
know
it front.
exactly what
Ridiculous.
I know
It's the stupidest
exactly
look in
what
the
you're
world.
talking
I don't know
about.
why I did it, but literally
'Cause it was
every
the
morning
90s.
before school.
Yeah.
And it was like that little
And then in the, and then
a
in the,
little bit of
and
a
then you know what
lift,
it
too.
was too. In the 2000s, you did the flip fade.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flip fade.
Yeah.
And now it's back.
Hey, baby, the flip fade never went anywhere. My favorite thing about the little duck front was when the kid was using too much hair gel, so there would just be like hair gel crusts between.
Oh
the peaks.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You know, that kid in 8th
That-
grade.
I gotta tell you, I had a really bad look once. I don't know if it was a bad
Right
look.
now?
I thought it was a good look. It's probably right now too. But so my beard was growing out, and it would grow out like the way it grows. It's straight hair, so it grew out and kind of grew out this way. So it was like this, right? And then my hair, because it was shorter, was kind of going up like that. So
Okay.
my hair was like this.
So you just
I
kinda-
had like a beard going down and my hair going like this.
So
and I'd
really,
walk up
it
to
really,
people and
it
like-
framed your
You
face
just look
really
like
well.
I look like I had a mask
You look like
on that
Johnny
was-
Bravo's like evil twin. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. It was bad. I look like Johnny Bravo's Asian twin. Yeah.
Yeah, I said evil, but
And now I look like poor man's Jason Momoa, which I don't know if I mind that as much. But
you.
like, yeah, it's fun. Everywhere I go, people yell Aquaman at me, and I'm like, all right.
no, they're saying young Aqua Lung. They want you to play Aqua
I don't think they
Lung.
want that.
I want to hear you
I'd
play
rather
Aqua
them yell
Lung.
Aqua Lad, to be honest with you. It's so much better than Aquaman. What is that, by the way? Is that a tampon?
We don't want to
No,
talk. We
no,
don't
no.
talk. It's
Not
off
talking about
camera,
that.
and
This
we
is
don't
off
talk
camera.
about
I'm
it.
so sorry. that we're
Come
not
on, man,
allowed
you're
to
breaking the
show it.
fourth wall.
I watched Deadpool last night. I'm all about breaking the fourth wall right now. I'm sure you have some questions, though.
I do,
Sorry that we
but
derailed
that's.
this.
I mean, we don't really. I could just.
Where's my coffee?
We could just.
I'm just gonna say this right now. I apologize in advance if I drop any f-bombs. I don't know
It's-
if we're.
Yeah, you're totally allowed to.
I mean, we've gone
you go.
completely off the
There it
rails
is.
here,
Sorry,
guys.
I've already sat down. This is probably the last time I'm going to be doing this. So.
Matt Raspanti,
yeah.
in this order, your least favorite religion and your favorite politician.
least favorite religion, probably.
Cut.
Thank you for saying
I'm gonna-
out of that one, man.
I wanted to see how far
I
you'd
wasn't
go.
gonna go where I'm not gonna. I don't know. I don't know a lot of religions, but favorite politician, live or dead?
It doesn't matter.
Alive.
Ghost,
Let's go.
ghost.
No,
Who's your
let's
favorite
go.
ghost
No,
politician?
let's go alive. Let's go alive. I gotta maintain
so,
some sense of order here.
What was it? Was it Harding?
That's your way of taking this back?
Harding
Yeah.
was the president that used to write love letters to his wife about her farts, right?
Warren
No, that
G.
was
Harding.
James Joyce.
No.
That was the most intelligent reference ever been made on OneMore, ladies and gentlemen. Carry on.
But
Never
so
mind.
so Harding really likes his wife's farts. Lyndon B. Johnson had a huge dick, and he showed everybody. I think that's kind of cool.
An American
Oh
patriot.
yeah, no.
He would be
was-
like, "Hey, come in. I have to show you." Like he's the president. He'd be in the bathroom. He'd call an aide in.
Well,
and they'd
he's
be like,
like-
"You ever see this?" And they're like, "What the fuck?" Like,
Well,
oh.
he was 6 foot.
Told you.
Like he was like 6'6".
Yeah, he was a huge dude.
He was a
But,
big
like,
man.
I wouldn't say politically he's my favorite either. I have a list of
He
favorite
did some
presidents.
okay things though.
I really-
Domestically, I'd say he did a very good, very strong domestic agenda.
I think, well, he
Lyndon
came
Johnson.
in, he had a lot of things to deal with. Hey, Kennedy. Wow,
Yeah,
we're
of
talking
course.
about
Yeah,
this
where's
stuff
my-
now.
where's
So
my-
Kennedy,
We're doing it.
And
I
we
mean-
had Vietnam, so his first thing was to kind of settle everything down a little bit. But you know, like it's an interesting time with presidents right now. We've got a very interesting president, so to speak. I don't think he's.
I don't think he's as
president
big.
is
I
a
don't
very
think. I don't
pejorative
think
term
he's.
on
I
that.
don't think he's as big as he says he is.
Oh yeah. So, well,
This is
I
just,
got
this is what happens when you get three like
very talkative people in a room together.
yeah,
Well,
three. Yeah.
Brian, you and I have shot together before. You know as well as I do that if you and I are sitting together in a room, there's gonna be a lot of
This
talking
could
going
go
on. Like
for hours.
the photo shoots that I do with people usually last anywhere between 40 minutes to an hour. And Brian was at my house for an additional hour, and we were just chatting the whole time.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like, and there was nothing wrong with that. But like, yeah, you and I
The
like to talk.
only thing that made me leave because I had to go, like I was like meeting up with somebody
Sure
or
you
something. No, I because I remember looking at my phone. I was like,
Yeah.
oh crap, I needed to go like a half hour ago.
Yeah,
We're having such a
like,
lovely time
but that's
talking.
the thing, you know. You
But
you
yeah, we
find
had such a
yourself in
good
combo.
time, yeah. And this is and so I'm excited to finally like have a somewhat long form conversation
sure.
because we always, I mean, I feel like. Especially, and I think this is the case with most people. Like we see each other all the time,
Yes, we do.
but it's always like, "Hey, what's going on?" Like, you know, you're just leaving, and I'm just getting there.
it's
So the
always
last time we saw each other, I was out to dinner with my mom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which my mom was like, "Who was that nice young man?"
Yeah, he's poor man's Jason Momoa.
Yeah,
He's fat Cal Drogo.
She
Does
does not
he
know
know
who-
how to play Aqualung by any chance?
Probably.
My mom would probably appreciate that. She's
Is your mom a
she-
tull?
Did your mom watch
a
the
tull
show?
head?
No, but she's you know, she grew up in the 60s.
Okay.
She's
She gets it.
67 years old.
So if I
she
shaved
was
the beard, your
that
mom
was
would
like
be into it.
right in her wheelhouse. You know, Jethro Tull. She was actually more of a Moody Blues fan.
Okay, cool.
Joyce was, yeah.
See, sans beard. With the beard, I look like Jason Momoa. Without the beard, apparently, according to most moms, I look a lot like Mickey Dolenz from the Monkees.
I can see it. I saw
Oh, now I really see it.
Now
Yeah,
you
that
see it,
helps.
right?
That helps.
I saw Mickey Dolenz at a free concert in at like a park in Edison.
He can't charge.
No, what is he doing? He's 1/4 of the Monkees,
Hey,
right?
hey,
Like,
he's a monkey.
hey,
Yeah, but you know what though? He if he didn't well when the monkeys get together, then he can charge. Then people pay. But when he's
really?
by
Are
himself,
people paying for the Monkees?
I'll pay for the monkeys.
I'd pay for the Monkees.
I'd pay to own a monkey.
I'd
people are talking about the monkeys. That's what I wanna know.
I'd pay like $25 to
I'd see the monkeys at Count Basie for like $25-$30.
Yeah, same.
That's guaranteed.
Yeah, this Mike Nesmith's got to be there though.
Yeah.
I don't need just Peter Tork.
yeah, no.
I
And,
need Nesmith. $10 per monkey.
$10 per $10.
So
$10
max
a monkey.
$40 to $50.
$10 a monkey. I need a projection of Davy Jones singing "Daydream Believer." Then maybe I'll max out at 40.
I could hide beneath the drapes. I don't remember the lyrics.
So we met like 3 or 4 years ago, and it took a few times for this to stick.
Yeah, I mean, it was, you know,
Like we kind of were like, oh, hey man, yeah, blah blah blah. Show me this Vox Night Train. Oh, hey man, blah blah blah. We're playing like Speaking of My Good Eyes show together, and then like a year and a half later, oh hey man, you're running sound at a show, and we were at some point we finally made the connection. We're like, oh no, hey man, nice to meet you. Oh no, wait. We met like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then we met another year ago.
Like, that was the craziest thing. Like, you know, like, I used
I
to work at
understand that
Russo.
I'm not that memorable a guy.
No, that's
so it took me a night of heavy drinking and the between the song chit chat to finally make this
for sure.
stick.
Well, you know, like working at Russo, it's always like, you know, you have a lot of musicians coming in. You just want to show them cool shit.
Yeah.
And I'm generally a nice person when people come in, so like it was nice to have the interaction.
Pay your commission, man.
But you know, for the most part, whenever it comes down to it, like a night out always seals the deal. You know, like and a night of drinking is one of those things. That Speaking of My Good Eyes show, that songwriter showcase, both of us were Sans drummer.
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool to have that, but we didn't really remember it until like a year later, after we had already been friends. You were booking the next singer-songwriter challenge at
John Peters and New Hope.
yeah. And you were like, oh, I just remembered, like we did this together like a year ago, and that like blew my mind because I didn't really put two and two together, and then I was like, oh. I don't know. A lot of those shows I try to like wash out with some alcohol, but like whenever I get to see the Paper Jets, it's always a memorable evening, and
Well,
that's one of those ones that I kind of remember.
since we met 2 or 3 years ago, the Paper Jets I think have only maybe played like one half of one show, so
I
it's
know.
very rare, very
I've
rare.
been trying to get there, but like, you know, that's
December 7th at Asbury Lanes.
There it is.
That's it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You guys have a date? Is that
Yeah,
for the
finally.
new record?
That's for the record.
I don't know if you guys
heard
haven't
it here
heard
first.
this new Paper Jets record yet. It's I got a sneak preview.
We're not here to talk about that.
We
though.
are.
We're here to talk about your band, The Idea Men.
Yeah.
The Idea Men.
Okay.
The Idea Men.
The
and
The
it's,
Idea Men.
It's kind of this Asbury Park, Philadelphia hybrid.
Yeah.
And how do you keep that together and running smoothly when the band is scattered around so
You know,
much?
it's work. It's a long distance relationship for sure.
Oh yeah. Do you guys like like a long distance relationship? Do you guys sort of set aside a time every night for a phone call?
I think
They all Skype together
Skype
at, like,
together every
yeah.
once in a while. Yeah. Well, I think the thing that's the best part about it, like when we started this band, we were all kind of living in Philly together. It started as my drummer's senior project at Drexel. He's a studio engineer major. He had to record a band. He was like, why would I record someone else's band? I'm a talented musician. Let's start a band. So the Idea Men formed. I came in a little bit after that, and we've been writing kind of collectively as a group. Now that we're split up, it's taken a completely different dynamic. I write songs over here in Jersey, and then I text them to the band. Matt, the other guitar player who lives in Philly, writes full songs, and then so instead of writing riffs and building it as a band, now we have two songwriters that are writing full songs, and then we're playing the parts.
And you guys work really well together,
Well, I mean,
though. A band with two
tight.
songwriters, though.
Yeah, but we're tight. That's the thing. Like, so we've been a band for 6 years, but the drummer, the bass player, and I all went to Massaquoi High School together. So I've known them for
so you
close to 12
there's
or
like a
13
history
years.
there.
Yeah, and then Matt was my drummer's roommate freshman year. He got kicked out of the dorms because he was selling weed. That's a different story. But
it's going to end up being legal next year anyway.
well, I mean, at some point it'll probably be legal. But like, yeah, it was. We've got history, and Matt's from Point Beach, and we're all from Brielle. So like, we're really just a skip away from each other. So having that kind of that shared sort of environmental upbringing, because we all grew up in the same general area, so we all know about Benny's in the summer. We all know about local summer afterwards. Like
the local term, the local parlance.
Yeah, I mean, if we lived in another state, we'd probably call them Shoobies, but like we're in Jersey and we call them Benny's. So
the Idea Men,
Idea
is
Men.
hands down one of the best live bands I have ever seen.
Oh,
right? Can you substantiate
No, absolutely.
that?
You guys bring it. It's really.
I mean, and I'm talking about. I count seeing famous bands in that. Like you guys just anybody whom I've seen in concert. Free, paid, whatever. You guys are one of the best live bands ever.
Yeah. Well, when musicality
how
isn't
is that? What's that?
No, I was going to say when musicality isn't your primary objective when it comes to the show, just being able to have fun on stage. I think
you guys have the most fun.
Oh yeah.
And how much of that is workshopped beforehand, and how much of that happens just in the moment?
It's organic. Like I've known these kids forever. They're my best friends. I don't have any brothers. I have these guys. And I would think the only person out of our crew that has a brother is my drummer. But that's basically
drummer's always kind of the odd duck anyway.
Yeah. Well, Tyler. When it comes to
that old.
If
saying.
you want to apply the adage of idea man, Tyler, in my opinion, is the idea man.
Okay.
We all have great ideas, but Tyler has always been consistently the one that's always been very creative when it comes to the dimensional aspects of the band. Tyler is an animator. Tyler is a producer and a DJ. Well, not DJ, but he makes mashups. Tyler does a lot. He did a lot of our music videos. He animated our first music video. He didn't even know stop motion. He was just like, let me try it. And they did our first music video, which was awesome. And as you watch the video, it progressively gets better. So you can realize that he's like starting to connect the dots of how to do it. And by the end of the video, you're like, this isn't a great video, but like it starts sketchy and then it kind of gets there. But like Tyler, in my opinion, hands down is the idea man. And we're all just kind of like along for the ride. We have great ideas, but we're all along for the ride.
Excellent. Now, it's been a couple of years since the band put out a proper record.
Yeah.
I know you guys did a little work at Spice House, by the way,
yeah.
and I love Alex and Eric down there. What a great room that is. One of the most underrated rooms.
Oh well, I mean it's a co-op studio. So when it comes to fee, you provide your own producer. They have somebody there, but it's a very cheap fee to record there.
Yeah,
it's not great. I would put it in akin to like I don't know what your fees are over at the Firehouse, but it's that kind of environment where you have a friend that's there as the producer, and then you kind of have the studio to yourself, and you sort of just work it out from there. We recorded our single, which should have been on a record, but it's been taking us a long time to finish the record. So
that
think
single
about it
came out almost like a year and a half ago.
We were talking about it
2016,
the other day,
right?
2016, yeah.
It's been a minute.
And that's a 6 minute 20 6-minute, 20-second song, I think.
Yeah.
And we put it on the radio. They were playing it on the radio for a while in Philly.
What state? 104.5?
It was WXPN. Sorry, 104.5. And like, yeah, we had a few plays on that. And it was funny because growing up, the drummer and my guitar player in college, Drexel, everybody is told the standard is 3 minutes, 30 seconds. That's radio play.
Yeah.
And we were like, but Pink Floyd, and we're not ever going to compare.
You know why?
Pink Floyd,
You know why 3:30 seconds? Because Good Vibrations was 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Also, humanity has a very short attention span.
Yes.
So, but that's why. So
Yeah,
think about it's a
I
song
lost all
that like
attention.
to deal with that short attention span aspect. Think about it's a song that gradually shifts gears in all these different sections. It was definitely one of our more ambitious, newer songs, and luckily, that's actually the direction all of our music's taking right now. Is that like composition-wise, we're starting to get a lot more into it, which is why it's taken us so long to do this.
So what's the next move, studio-wise?
Well, we're looking at Spice House.
And just in terms of recording, not just in terms of facility. But,
we're looking at that. I mean, we want to track live again. When we did New Level Shoes, which is the last full length we put out, we did that at Milk Boy the Studio, and
oh wow,
that was cool because that's Questlove's side studio.
Yep.
This guy Larry Gold, who did all the string and horn arrangements for like a lot of rappers. He had all of his gold records on the wall, and that was a huge thing. I mean, we spent about like $10,000 to $12,000 on that record. But we did it all in 3 days. So we tracked 12 songs in 3 days, and the first day was all drum mix. So we tracked 12 songs in basically 2 days, and like wore ourselves out of it. But like at the same time, as much as I love that studio and I love the facility and the engineers that we had, everybody was awesome. It was just like, I think we stepped into it a little too quick.
Yeah.
Like as much as I liked that aspect, I'm still listening to the record, and like a song I wrote for it, Please, I refuse to play that song live. It's a cool song, but like
it kind of got away from you a little bit.
The only good part of that song is the bridge, and that was a song that I wrote in the studio because we were like, well, we should add another song to it, and we had been, jerking around with that song, and I was like, I'll put words to it, and then listening back to it now, it's just like, when you write personal songs, like it's the last thing you want to do is like kind of keep rehashing those scars and stuff. And like, that's one of those personal songs I was like, I'd rather just kind of leave.
Let it,
and
just let it live there. And if people want to find it, they can obviously find it.
We're not playing 3-hour sets, so we don't need to play every song we've ever written, so it works out.
So now I want to kind of pivot to you running live sound a little bit. We had Chris's brother Matt in a couple weeks ago. We talked a lot about running sound, just manipulating sound in a studio environment. And for you, I'm kind of curious about the live setting because you work in a bunch of venues. What's your least favorite thing that a band will do when you're trying to, sort of line check and keep things moving? What's a band do that slows you down and kind of annoys you a little bit?
There's a thing right now called
like
the mic mechanic. TC Helicon makes a mic mechanic. You run your microphone into this box that gives you reverb and whatever else you want to apply to that. It's not that I hate it, but it makes the mic so hot that it's kind of hard to mix with.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's nice and all, but like, why are you doing this at Yacht Club? Like do this at like House of Independence. But even like I've talked to Jim Norton, I'm pretty sure he hates that as well.
I'm sure Jim's probably been very public about his hatred.
Jim's very
public about
a lot of his things.
He roasts.
But he's
hard.
Jim Norton, in my experience, because I've worked with him. I used to play in a church band that met at House of Independence, so I worked with him a lot.
Cool.
Every Sunday morning, he'd be tired as hell from the night before, and so would I be. And chatting with him and talking to him about sound was always like, he's one of those guys I look up to in this area. At him and MJ too. Like she's an incredible sound
MJ's
person.
number one.
So like I look at these people
might be the
and
best
I'm like,
one.
that's what I want to like. Those are the people that I aspire to be. Even though like working at Yacht Club is just like that's the minor leagues, man. Like. It's a great venue, but sound-wise, I'm doing vocals and that's it.
I'm
not
it leaves
making
a little
amps or
something to be
anything.
desired. That's
but like the thing to think about when it any band that comes through, they're all playing the same gig in my opinion. They're all playing live music for someone to enjoy.
Yeah.
So for me, when I approach it as a musician, my first thing that I want to make sure they get to make them happy is that the monitors sound good.
Okay.
So that's my one gripe about any venue I've ever played is that I can never hear myself in the monitors. So my first and foremost thought is to make sure that they can hear themselves and then to make it sound the way I want to hear it if I were to listen to it at home.
Okay.
So it's all about, it's me being very selfish because I'm making it sound the way I want to make it sound.
Well,
And
but that's
then-
your prerogative,
then it
because
sounds good.
that's your show you're
you know,
running.
these people
so.
tell me it sounds good, but like, yeah, that's the idea, is to make sure that, you know, at least I'm happy with it. So when I go home, I'm not like, oh, it sounded like shit. Like, you know, I want it to sound the way I want. You know.
Yeah. Now we only have a couple minutes left. I want to,
Totally cool.
but I want to touch on your other project, the Asbury Park Yearbook.
Oh yeah.
And is that's still going on?
That is, everybody keeps asking me, is that still going on? It's like, yeah, it's still going on. You know, had I come up with this idea 5 years ago, it probably would have been a lot easier to do. But the Asbury Park
Now
music
that
scene,
there's
as we all
so
know,
damn many
there's
of
like
us
a
out
million
there.
people. So the idea is to make sure, like, the one thing that we don't have as a music community, or the one that we need as a music community, is just being out there. We need a lot of coverage on every aspect, photo, video, but we would just want to make sure that
Interviews.
interviews. But and you guys, I got to say, you know, hats off to you guys. You've moved around a lot of venues, but you have been giving a lot of boosted coverage to a lot of small, you know, musicians that don't actually ever have this kind of experience.
Well, this
ever.
is you know, this is just the conversation you and I had in our living room brought to other people's living
this
rooms,
is kind of
essentially.
cheating in a way. This isn't a new conversation, but like,
No, but it's
Yeah.
you know, it was sparked in a way by that, because we weren't doing the show yet.
No.
Like, we started maybe a couple weeks after
Yeah.
that, but it was, you know, the idea of that sort of conversation where we just sit down and, you know, talk about music and talk about the scene and the community and stuff. That's sort of where we took it.
Yeah, so everybody needs visibility at this point in time. And my idea, because, you know, I went to school for photography, that was my major. I worked as a
Great
photographer for a
portrait
while.
photos.
It's been kind of my side thing as well too. But the aspect going into it was like, you know, everybody needs to be visible. I need to get my feet wet again, because I hadn't been shooting for a while. I fell back into it, and I was like, you know what? This could be a good project where it's kind of like we can scratch each other's back. A, I can have an excuse to shoot, and B, I can make sure that my friends and the people that I love and the people that I like to listen to in this town get to be visible.
And in a way, maybe even the people, because for me, that's I have similar goals with the show. I think we, you know, Chris and I do, and I think,
guys do, yeah.
you know, it's obviously no secret we're all friends here, but also I think the people that we're just curious about, that maybe we don't know or we've only seen in passing, and it's like, hey, you know what? Let's sit down, let's talk to this person for like 15 minutes, and then we leave, and then it's like, oh, hey, I'm playing a show, you want to play? Oh, and, you know, vice versa.
Sure.
Everything kind of, you know, crosses in and
sure.
ties in with each other.
The idea that I want to have with this yearbook, and it, you know, it was going to be, let's try to get it done by the end of the year, and I was like, you know what, that might be asking a little much. So the idea is to have it ready to go, planned to be printed. What I want to do is, all the proceeds from that, and I keep saying to everybody, I don't want to make any money off this. That's not what this is about. This is about the music community. So all the proceeds from it, after we can make hardcover books, they're all going to come back to the Asbury Park Music Foundation. It's the building that we're in right now, which I think is awesome. But like, you know, I want to make sure that money comes back to it. But I also want to drop off these books, these lookbooks of every musician in town, to the venues and be like, listen, when you're booking national acts, don't forget the people that helped, you know, at least keep the scene going enough for people to be interested in what's going on.
And I think that, in a way too, like that, because I think some of the venues, if I could critique, I feel like some of the venues get a little, I don't want to say a little lazy, but definitely a little bit stuck in, all right, well, you know, they have their sort of short list of bands, and they kind of forget that there's a lot. So you've got, you know, they've got the short list of, say, you know, 24 bands, and then there's like 100 more that could do similar things, that could do just as well, that could be a little different, or that, you know, throw them in an opening spot and just give them a chance. And I feel like that could help with that. That could help, you know, make venues more aware too, because it's, you know, the same people work these venues for decades.
I can't tell you how many shows I've been to where I've seen bands get booked with national acts that, in my opinion, they're great bands, but they have no business being booked with that band.
Yeah, just different, but it's because they're kind of on the short list.
It's because
they can
somebody
bring people,
knew
someone
somebody,
knows them.
or you know, maybe the band that I thought would be perfect wasn't available. But like, I saw a band called The Main Squeeze not too long ago, probably in April, I believe, or March. But it was it's a funk metal fusion band. They're incredible. I wouldn't say they're fusion, but like they're funky. They got some metal influence in there, but they're basically the national version of Des and the Swagmatics with a male instead of a female singer. And to not see Des and the Swagmatics on that gig was like, listen, I don't know what's going on with whoever booked this show. Like, it was a great show, but I was like, Des should have been on this gig.
Yeah, there could have been. You know, it was a great show, but it could have been a better show.
It could have been a better show. And I was like, if you had that local following where it's like, listen, this is what you do, check out what we do, and then put them together, you know, like, and I think that's what these venues have the opportunity to do. You know,
last question.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
No. I was already done. Okay. Yeah, I know we had a short amount of time, so I don't want to take too much.
We've stretched a little, but that's okay. Okay. You know, this is
again. I talk a lot.
No. Have you met me? three times.
Just
like
one more with Brian Erickson. That's all. Yeah.
The last question I have for you is what drives you? What drives you to not just be a participant in the community, but to be someone who's active, who engages people, and who, in my impression of you, tries to sort of leave things just a little bit better off than they were when you found them.
Well, the original thing driving me for the yearbook, and the original thing kind of pushing me to sort of want to leave my mark in a little bit, if you want to use that sort of example. But there's definitely a push to try to sort of leave my mark.
You're like a guy, though.
Well, people know me,
you're a guy. Like, you're in the community. You're everywhere.
Yeah, people know me around town. But like,
what's the drive behind that?
Well, I don't know. Like, that's a really good question, Brian. You asked me something that I'm actually not.
That's
really
why we save it for last, man. Yeah. Like, come on, our producers know what they're doing. Our writers know what we're doing.
Like, someone told me I was a really good networker, and I was like, I'm not a good networker at all. I just don't shut the fuck up. Oh shit, I'm sorry.
No, you can.
But like, it's the thing. I talk a lot, and like, I think it's just really awesome to be able to tell my friends about stuff that my friends are doing, and like, that's the thing. I really care about the people that are in the scene because we're all friends, and it's like, if I can be this kind of speaker box to sort of help broadcast what they're doing out, that helps me out. That makes me happy. But like, I don't know. I think for a while I was thinking about like leaving town. Really? I wanted to like pick up and move again. I don't know where I was going to do that at, but I think that was the original thing about the Asbury Yearbook, was to get that off the ground, put this thing of visibility for all the bands out here, and then just kind of fade into the distance, and have somebody else run the yearbook
never be seen again.
Yeah, just be like, boom, man, whatever happened to that kid that did yearbook? Whatever. Yeah. But like, I don't know. That was the original driving goal, and then the longer I stay here, like, the more I just get drawn back into it. It's just like, I don't know if I
just when you thought you could. Yeah. What is it? What's the line? Come on, Chris.
What, the
right?
Mafia?
I could have been a contender. Yeah.
No.
Gotcha. Matt Raspanti, thank you so much.
They pull me back in.
Yeah, that's a Mafia quote. Yeah, just when you think, they pull you back in.
Yeah, it's Godfather Part 2.
It's Godfather 2.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt Raspanti. We're going to hear some of these songs. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I got to do this. Yeah.
That was called Teamwork. All right. This week's episode of One More is brought to you by the Asbury Park Music Foundation. The APMF, or AMP if you're feeling frisky, raises money to support youth music programs throughout Asbury Park that provide lasting skills, self-confidence, and life-changing experiences for underserved kids in our community. This includes funding for the Hip Hop Institute at the Boys and Girls Club of Monmouth, in-school music programs at Hope Academy, and scholarships for kids to attend the Lake House Music Academy, located right over there. APMF AMP also hosts free summer concert series to bring communities together through the power of music. Music Mondays at Springwood Park brings the past and present together to showcase what Asbury has to offer. The Asbury Park Concert Band, now in its 73rd year of shows on the boardwalk playing jazz and big band music, and Asbury Park Live on Wednesdays in front of Mogo and Watermark, which spotlights emerging bands from all over New Jersey. If you're interested in keeping Asbury Park's legacy of music alive by making a meaningful difference for the underserved youth in our community, head to Asbury Park Music Lives or AsburyParkMusicLives.org to make a donation. And while you're there, pick up a Music Saved Asbury Park t-shirt. All proceeds make it possible to support Music Saved My Life youth program. And now, ladies and gentlemen, with a voice like Tupelo honey, Katherine Quintana!
Thanks. All right. Ah, thanks. Here's our song from Anti-Valentine's Day. Thanks.
This week in events. All right, Tuesday, September 18th. Emily from Dentist, Doug Zamboni, the Van Saders, and Dave Appy are the Downtown in Red Bank. That's an amazing show. God Forgive These Bastards, featuring former guest Jesse McCormick, continues its run at the Fire in Philadelphia at 7 p.m. Sir Sherry, oh my God, how can one band be so good? Hosts the open mic night at the Old Town Pub at 7 p.m. Singer-songwriter night at Cafe Artiste, featuring Gwen Alday, Matt Cook, and Katherine Quintana. That's at the Mama's Arts Center at 7 p.m. The Components at the Pet Shop in Jersey City at 9 p.m. And, of course, the Vlasic Classic Open Mic hosted by Cranston Dean at the Chubby Pickle in Highlands. You know, the Chubby Pickle. They got beer and shit. Wednesday, September 19th, Jersey Storytellers. It sounded like a good idea at the time at the Asbury Hotel at 7 p.m. Quality Living. Ruby Bones. What's up, Chris Fox? Hello Folly and Sailor Boyfriend at FM Restaurant Bar and Lounge at 7 p.m. And, of course, Puppy Grease and Brandon Flynn are beautiful. Puppy Grease, our beautiful and perfect friend Jesse McCormick at the Asbury Hotel at 8 p.m.
Get a clean one.
All right, let me get a clean one of these. Puppy Grease, Brandon Flynn, and our beautiful and perfect friend Jesse McCormick at the Asbury Hotel at 8 p.m. You're welcome. Thursday, September 20th, Joe Gallupo, the best, only the best. His band, Comb the Desert, will be opening for Agnostic Front at the Stanhope House on the main stage at 6 p.m. Pogo, Leeds, and Above the Moon are at the AP Brewery at 7 p.m. And Nalani and Serena are at the Bitter End in New York City at 8 p.m. Friday, September 21st, Avery and the Mandevils, oh God. Sailor Boyfriend, Wind Spaceships are at the Saint at 7:30 p.m. Scouts is playing a benefit concert for the Nevins family at Roxy and Dukes at 8 p.m. Jeff Linden of Black Spot Society, Call Out, Here There Be Monsters are at Arlene's Grocery at 8 p.m. The Mixtapes, Bumpin' Uglies, Dry Reef are at Milk Boy in Philadelphia at 8:30 p.m. And Soul Compound and Dave Mooney and Viewers Like You are at the Saint. I'm going to be at the Saint and the AP Brewery playing shows on Friday. Please bring me some coffee.
Saturday, September 22nd, Heartstrings Second Annual Fall Festival, Luther Memorial Church in Tinton Falls, 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. Oh boy, this is going to be a disaster. Asbury Park Second Annual Porch Fest featuring too many artists to name, but we'll name some of our favorites anyway. Take a large gulp of air, Chris. Oh, that was stage direction. Ben Resnick, Bobby Mahoney, Brian's Erickson is how he wrote it. Oh, Brian's Erickson and Molnar, Brother Andrew, Brandrew himself, Chris Brown, Asbury Park, Colton Kaiser, Dave Mooney, writer of such hits as the Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini and Bitches Ain't Shit, Dave Vargo, Dave Mooney again, Devin Alana, Deirdre, got it, Emily, Deirdre for... I'm over it. D. Forrest, Emily Grove, Jimmy Farkas, Sad Boy, Justin Franco, Catherine Quintana, Kim Boyko, Matt Cook, Matthew Brow, Pamela Flores, The Porgistas, Riley Shiro, Love You Riley, The Van Saters, Victoria Taylor, and Waiting on Mongo. The show runs from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Check out apporchfest.com for schedules and rain date. That was actually okay.
Good job.
I get one applaud. I get a singular applaud. Fourth annual, there's a lot more to go. Fourth annual Bond Street Block Party featuring Tide Benz, Dentist, Rock and Roll High Fives, Gay Guy / Straight Guy, Ribeye Brothers, and more. 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. It's Bond Street. It's a block party. It's a Bond Street block party. Not their real slogan. Terra Dente and Dan Amano and the Sentimental Gentlemen are at the Saint at 7 p.m. Archangel, Crewman number 6, Baron and Moore at Crossroads at 7 p.m. Kate Dressed Up, the one, the only, is Steel Sex Community Storage at 9 p.m. And the Successful Failures and Crypt Keeper 5 are at John and Peters in New Hope at 9 p.m. Sunday, September 23rd, close out your weekend at the Scarlet Pug. P-Funk North, Heavy Flow, Motor Heart Man at 8 p.m. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the official Facebook photographer of Asbury Park and our very own Budget Jason Momoa, Matt Raspanti!
Said his eyes changed from yellow to brown. That's why she hangs around. That's not love, then I just don't want to know another. 'Cause I might not have the strength to stand on ground. Singing, wait a minute, something's out of place. Yeah, princes seem to fall from grace. Oh, wait a minute, something's out of place. Yeah, that's not really happy, it's just a little space. Well, you said, come over, baby, just see what I got. I'll ride down 16th Street, honey, yeah. What you think I forgot? Yeah, I said stay up all night, just try to see this through. Sick and tired of waiting for tomorrow to try to improve it to you. Oh, wait a minute, something's out of place. Ah, yeah, princes seem to fall from grace. Oh, wait a minute, something's out of place. Yeah, well, now that's not really happy, it's just a little space. Take it home, Coop. That's off the first record, Get Yo Groove On. That's GETCHO, That's it's on Spotify and Apple Music and YouTube. So that's where we're on, right? It's totally on YouTube. No, that one's That one's got a title. That's called Out of Place. This one's called I Know By Now, because sometimes you forget, and then you're like, oh yeah, I know by now. Span a book, but I'm A3. By now you should know me. Well, if you don't, then I feel bad, because I know by now. Out of book, but I can't find. It's you and you're too kind. Stop saying that you know me, yeah, 'cause I know by now. I don't even know your name, honey, but I don't care to find. Stick around one more time. Yeah, well, I don't even know your name, honey, but I don't care to find. Burn the book, but I'm A3. By now you should know me. And if you don't, then I feel bad, because I know by now. I don't even know your name, honey. I don't care to find. Stick around one more time. I don't even know your name, honey, but I don't care to find. I know what I can't find. And it's you and you're too kind. Stop saying that you know me, because I know by now. Thank you.
Great job.
You're my favorite.
Great job. Let's try and get everybody up on stage if we can. All right. Matt Raspanti and Kevin Cooper, Kathy Quintana from the Asbury Park Music Foundation for Chris Dubrow. This has been One More. I am, I have been, and I remain.
Always be.
And I apparently will always be Brian Erickson.